Morning, everybody. Just waiting for my stream to show up. I'm going to be testing my audio, and let's see. We're just waiting. And hoping my audio goes. Not hearing it. Okay, good. Not hearing it. Good. Okay, alright. Let's see. Let's get started. Morning, everybody. It's me, Michael. Back here on December 15th, just about 10 days away from Christmas. My name's Michael Kyer, and I've been streaming now for quite a while, and my stream is about streaming, and it's about all the things computery and software-y that you might need to get your stream going or to just have a good time with it. So I'm going to get started today. I'm going to be talking about the cloud. It's one of my more favorite things. I just think it's a fantastic technological development that's been around for quite some time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as I go here. And then I'm going to go into showing you a little bit about how to use the cloud and how to use Google Drive and how to share documents, how to create some real quick to give you an idea of what the capabilities are. It's a fantastic. Oof, boy, my stream just got a little glitchy, so all right, let's see what's going on. Okay, don't look too bad. So the first thing is that the internet and computers are not infallible. I think that's something important to keep in mind because it's not something that's personal. It's not something that your computer is not out to get you. The internet is not out to get you. It's a hugely complex system that takes thousands and thousands and thousands of things to get my video to you, to post your document to the web, to get your document back from the web or the cloud or wherever it is. But the cloud is a good thing. It's our friend. It makes so many things possible. And the reality of it is that we use the cloud all the time, use it a lot, whether we know it or not. All right. It can sound like this, really vague term about, oh, it's something out there, it's something that I don't understand, but it's not. Email, that's cloud storage. All of that information is stored somewhere else. It's not necessarily stored on your computer. Text, Facebook posts, YouTube posts, Zoom is a great one. Teams, Microsoft Teams, if you use that. Those are all examples of cloud storage because that information is not being stored directly on your computer. You're accessing it, but it's not stored on your computer. So even though the cloud sounds like this big, huge thing that we, that you can't understand, it's really actually a specific place. So if I'm using Google Drive, that is information that's being stored on, one of Google's something somewhere in the middle of wherever they store that stuff. It's in my mind, it's actually safer than storing things on your computer. The infrastructure that's used to, all those big servers and all that stuff is really, they have redundant systems. So like in case if your computer went down and you had your information stored solely on your computer, you could very easily lose that data. Whereas if it's stored in a Google server somewhere, or Amazon, or whoever the wherever your information is, you're going to have a much less chance of loss and a much less chance of data corruption. So that's a pretty big incentive to trust the cloud, to trust that infrastructure. And again, it's not infallible. It can always fail. But as long as you have that internet connection, it's always available. So that's a huge benefit of it. You can easily share it and then unshare it with somebody else, so that you can work collaboratively, either asynchronously, so I can share that document and somebody else can access it later, or in real time. And that's one of the things I really like about using the cloud storage and utilizing, especially Google Docs, is that you can collaborate with somebody in real time. You can make corrections or additions to a document and see that happen. So in some ways, you could use a Google document in the same way you would use a text or a chat box. So if you're out there, if you're on Twitch, leave me a chat here in the chat, and we'll utilize some Google, or not some Google. It's still early in the morning. Sorry, everybody. We'll utilize some cloud storage. So one of the first things before we get started is this idea of syncing your data. The data that's stored on the cloud can be stored locally on your computer and synchronized with each other, so that if you did lose your internet access, if you're in an area that doesn't have a really consistent internet signal, then you can access your documents offline, and then when you do have that connection again, that can be synchronized, and you're right back in business. So I think that is, I think there are a lot of benefits to using the cloud. I do understand local storage, and there's reasons to do that, but using the cloud is our friend, and so I think that really bears pointing out, just because it's something that I find a lot of people have confusion with or fear of oh well, my data is somewhere else, my document is somewhere else, and that's true, but you can access it. It's not going to go anywhere. If for some reason Google or Amazon or whatever goes down, there's some problem with that. There are bigger problems than the loss of your document, and we saw that last week. There was a big Amazon Web Service outage that affected all sorts of things, and so that was a really big problem, and I think that they're sorting it out over there as far as what happened, but it affected lots of people. So it's always a possibility. Like I said, the internet is not infallible. So as if you're not as familiar with computers and that type of thing, it's worth keeping that in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just Google Drive and some of the documents involved, or some of the documents involved there, so you can start to see how Google Drive itself actually works. So we're out here on the internet. Hello, internet people. Hello, future people. If you have a chance, leave me a chat. I'd love to hear from you. I love to take live questions. That's a fantastic thing. So if you have any questions as we go, or as I go, just let me know. My name is Michael Kyer, and I've been streaming for quite some time now. And I want to share some of that information for, especially for new streamers. That's sort of kind of where this is focused, is to give you, an idea of not just what software can do, but also how you can be a little creative with it, a little, make your own mess, because that's what I do. I get out here and I make my own mess. Some of my first streams were just abysmal. They were abysmal. I lost internet. I was streaming and it was all glitchy, and I looked like, at one point I looked like an old character off of MTV, Max Headroom, and he did this brr, brr thing, and it was all part of the show. But that's exactly what I looked like. So I was sort of a little chagrined with that one. But get back on here, keep going, keep streaming. Add your little stream to the great river that is the internet. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to move some stuff around. I want to remember to make a clip for, let's see, I don't need you. Let's see who's out there. Is anybody out there? Okay, yeah, we got some folks out there. If you're out there on Twitch, leave me a message, leave me a chat. I'd love to hear from you. I am going to switch over now to, let's see, what are we going to do first? We need to switch over. Yeah, let me get this out of the way. One of the wonderful pieces of going live is that there's lots of things to do. So here we go, and let's switch to, all right, so I'm not going to go away. I'm going to leave a little picture of me so that you don't get worried that I'm actually disappearing, in case I lose audio, which was what was the problem last week, because I lost audio. And there we go. Oh, that's my cat, Christmas. Not my cat's name's not Chris. My cat's name is Merlin, and he's getting ready for Christmas. So I forgot to put that away, so I'll put that away. Okay, let's get started. I am going to start with just, I'm going to assume for a second that you have signed up for Google. You've got a Google account, and you are signed into it. You're ready to go. And this is your main landing page. Of course, you can Google from here. And Google's our friend. Google's my friend. I love Google. You can always, you can search just about anything. I remember when I was growing up, we didn't have instant access to Google, or to instant access like this, simplified access to the internet. And finding the information that you were looking for took a lot more time. So for me, this is an absolute treat. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start getting into this. If you want to say hi, say hi. I've got my chat box up there so you can see and participate in my little demonstration. So from this main landing page, you've got a couple of quick links up here. One to Gmail, obviously, and then this little matrix here, which will bring up your Google Apps. And this is really important to point out, because when you've got a Gmail or you've got a Google account, you have access to all of these things, a whole suite of different tools. So you've got, search and maps, YouTube, which we're all familiar with. So Gmail, and then all these other documents, or all these other applications. And so it's a really, really powerful set of software that you have access to for free, and you can create all sorts of things with it. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive for this Google Chrome profile that I have, and show you that it's a lot like lot like the file manager that's on your computer currently. And so you can make folders, you can make documents, and the organization of it is pretty much the same. So I've got my tab open. I'm just going to go ahead and close this one. Google Drive, there it is. That's what it looks like. I haven't changed. This is the default theme for this particular Google Chrome profile. So it's not any particular color other than the basic colors for it. But you can see all of the parts. Right now, there's nothing in this. This is completely empty. I don't have any files in here. I don't have any pictures. I don't have anything. And you can see down here in the lower left hand your of storage on the cloud. But that's actually a lot of information that you can store. Doc photos, videos, those definitely. An hour of video is about so if you have 18 hours of video, and that's just with a straight, file. You have compressed in some way, and that's a discussion to have. But for right now, basics of Google bytes of information that you can upload to the cloud, or store. A good starting point. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see, I'm going to actually open this all the way up so that we have plenty of room. There we go. Full screen. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my video off just to kind of get some of this out of the way. So we've got a full screen of this, but I'm still here. So let's go ahead and turn this off real quick. Webcam. There we go. And I'm going to turn the chat off. I don't have anybody that wants to chat with me directly right now, but I have the chat on, but you can still send me a chat, and I will still see it. So my chat. Okay, so on the left-hand side is your file manager. This is going to give you a list of all the different files that you have made, that you have created, a list of the computers that you have synced with Google. And then this is a really important one right here, is the items that are shared with you. And I'll somebody who's shared with you or to you, that's going to show up there. Access one documents or files saved there. If you know that your employer has shared a document, I don't know, say an employee handbook or something, that is going to show up in the documents that are shared with you. And then your recent documents, this is another handy category, because you're not going to need access to every single file all the time. You might not want to go searching through. If you're kind of like me, one of the things I have a tendency to do is make a folder within a folder within a folder within a folder, and sometimes that can be a little confusing to get to. So And then you can also star the important documents that you make and find the things that you put in the trash. That happens all the time. Now, this main part in the center is where these documents and files are going to show up. So I'm going to create a couple of those really quickly here and show you how those show up. But on the right hand side is a preview window. So you don't have to open that document up. You can get a quick preview of what that looks like, so you can make a decision whether that's what it is you're looking for. Another mistake that I often make is to not label what I'm making. So if I have something that's labeled new file or unnamed document or something along those lines, if I'm trying to figure out what it is I need to go back and label, then this is a good spot to just get a quick idea of what's going on there. And I don't need to have this open. I can close this. And then all the way over on the right, you'll see another side panel that's got some additional applications that you can open to integrate your workflow to some of those other programs. So we'll go to that in a little bit and show you some of the cool things that you can add to, that you can essentially plug in to your Google Drive. So let's go ahead and start by making something. Well, actually, let me introduce myself again real quick. My name is Michael Kyer, and I've been streaming now for quite some time. And my channel here on Twitch, Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, that's my cool Twitch handle, my cool Twitch name for the time being. It's a reference to an older TV show, so if you know what that is, please, you can either leave a message in the chat or just let me know that you know it, because we don't want to necessarily spoil it for everybody. But that's who I am really quickly. I always like. So let's get started. We're going to make a folder, and this large button at the top is where you start. So you've got a whole list of the different things. You can upload a file. You can upload a folder. Documents here. I can make a blank document, and it's going to show up. So let's first start by making a folder. And am I going to label this? I'm going to label this, say, my first Google Drive folder. And then I'm going to click Create, or you can just click Enter. And this will give it a second, and there it goes. It shows up, and so from here, if I click on this, I'm going to open it, and now I'm in that folder. So this is the top level of my drive, which is where everything is shown, and then this is the first folder that I've got in here, and this is some options that I can use directly for this folder. I can share it, I can make a link directly to it, and I can rename it from here, and these other items as well. So this little drop-down menu is for this folder specifically. All right. So now that I'm in this folder, now I want to make a document. So I go back up, and I'm just going to make a basic Google Doc. I'm going to make a blank one. So that's going to open up a Google document, and I can name it. All right, got that. I'm going to name it. I'm going to name this my first Google Doc. Enter. It'll take a second to save. It's saved to the drive, and it is saved in that folder that I just created. If I wanted to create this document in my drive, my main top level drive, then I would go there first. I would navigate back there. So you can see I'm in my Google Drive folder. Here's my first Google Doc, And if I go back to my drive, this is my folder. Okay, so I'm going to click on my folder. I've got my doc. I've got it open. It's been saved, so I can close this, and I'm back in my folder. So this, my first Google Drive folder, you can see I've got my details of it over here. And if I just click once to highlight this first Google document, you can see the information about it, the details about it over on the right side. So now you're starting to be able to see that this is basically like any file manager on your computer, and just, it's Google. It's out there. It's on the web, and I can access this now anytime I'm connected to the internet. I can share it with others, and now I'm off and rolling. This obviously looks like a thumbnail or a square, but you can also, oops, that's not quite what I meant to do. List view over here. This is going to change the way your drive looks. If you don't want to use large icons, you can change it to a list, which is more familiar for your file manager that is on your computer. So it's the same thing. It's just a different view for whatever is most comfortable for you, and then you can change it right back to view, which is what we were looking at earlier. Change it back, and it's completely, you haven't altered anything other than just the way it looks. So I'm going to go in my first Google Drive folder now. I'm going to add another couple of documents real quick. Let's see, I'm going to add a Google Sheet. So I've got my first Google spreadsheet. Let's see, we'll just name this first sheet. It's going to save it. It's saved to my drive. I've created it in that folder. That's where I started. So now when I close this, it's going to show up in my Google Drive folder. Let's see what else we're going to make. We're going to make a slide, slide blank presentation. Same thing. Give that a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. I'm going to rename it. First slide, enter. So you can see here it's giving me a pop-up so I can show my status. So I've got, yep, I understand that. If I highlight that little cloud, it'll say that all my changes have been saved to Drive. It's ready for offline use. I can edit it. It tells me right here that I can edit that document without an internet connection, and then it'll sync back up with Drive once it's reconnected. So I've got a slide presentation, back to my folder. Now I've got a few documents in here, and let's say I want to go back and I can change the view of these. Okay, so I've got my three. I've changed my view, changed my view right back, changed my view right back again. Let's just check the details on this first slide. All right, details on the first slide. I'm going to do something real quick to show you that details pane. That details, let's see, I'm going to add a title. Let's go with the proverbial hello world. If you're making things a lot of the time, hello world is one of the first things a lot of people like to type, so we're going to just save that real quick. And it's saved. So when I click on that, let's see. Okay. All right. So we've got a little bit set. We've got a folder, and this is it's Google Drive is a file manager. You can keep everything here. You can see I've made these 3 files, and that's only a kilobyte of information. That's not very much at this point. They're pretty basic, and so it's not taking up a lot of space. So like I said, when you get into videos, stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit more filled up, and you'll want to start considering how much you're storing and what you're storing there. But for right now, plenty of storage. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and show you now. I'm going to go into some of the how to share these. If I wanted to share these with somebody, all right, I wanted a friend of mine to have access to this. There's a couple of different ways to do it. And I can highlight this, and I can get a link right here. Get a link. And that's going to bring up this this share the settings of what the options that I have for sharing this, how I would like to have this shared with other people. So I can share this with people in groups. I can add a specific person. In this case is Tech Steward Carl. That's an email that I use for work, and I can add other people to this. Whatever your email address would be, you can add that individual specific person, or I can get a link to this that I want to copy and share with somebody. So right now, this is a restricted link so that only the people added can open this link. So I can get the link, but only the people that are up here could access this. But I want to change that. I want to make this a different type of link. So now that's changed to anyone with this link on the internet can view this. All right. Now I haven't shared that link with anybody yet, but if I did, then anybody could view this link, and I have them set as only a viewer. I want to share it, but I don't want them to be able to add to it. So sharing them as a viewer is anybody on the internet can see this if I share it, if I put the link out there, but all they can do is view it. And then I can change this again further from here back to restricted. It's going to change it back to restricted so that only the people that are added can open this link. And if I change it back to anyone with the link, I can now change this to a commenter. They can leave a comment on the document, or an editor, somebody that I want to collaborate with either in real time or asynchronously. I can make them an editor, and they'd be able to edit this document. So once you've made the selections as far as what settings you want, and in this case I'm just going to leave it as a viewer, and anyone on the internet can view the link. So I'm happy with that, and I can copy the link right from here, and that's going to copy it to my clipboard, and so then I'll have that link that I can share. So I'm going to copy that real quick, so I want to remember that that's on my clipboard. So I'm just going to copy it, and it'll let me know it's copied. So I'm done with this. I've made my share settings, and it's ready to be shared with whoever I'm going to share it with. So I'm going to be done with that. And in this, let's go back up here. So I can share my document. I can preview the document. I can remove the document from up here. And then I've got more actions for this document accessible here. So a lot of these settings for different documents and folders are available in different places. So you just want to make sure that when you're working on something that you are making the adjustments to the settings in the right place. So earlier I had this highlighted. I've got a link to it. So from this document, I can open it up. And I can also start my share settings right from the top at the top right-hand corner. All right, it's going to show me what the settings are, and at this point, anyone with the link can access it. They don't need to be signed into Google. But right from here, it'll bring me right back to my settings for this document. All right. So Again, accessible in many different places. More settings. So very accessible, redundant places that you can access that. So those are the basics. The cloud, the basics of the cloud. I will say that the Google Drive and your Google Documents are not necessarily as robust as some of your paid software, your Microsoft Word and those types of things. But all of the basic functionality that you're going to need for documents, for manipulating documents, sharing documents are here. It's a very powerful set of tools, and I really highly suggest it. So right now we're still in my first Google Drive folder, but we're going to go back to my drive. And you can see my folder, and that's it. That's the basics of Google Drive. So you can always go through and check these and change these. I can also close, hide the details. Maybe I don't want to see the details. But then you've also got this side panel real quick, and I'll show you that. I hit it. Now I opened it. Google Keep. This is going to open a direct link to Google Keep, so you can access this right here. And you can see I made some notes for today. But I don't have to open a separate window for Google Keep. I can directly from here access these, open these, and use that to, I don't know, cut and paste into your different documents and such. So that's another little addition that is very nice to have when you're working with Google Drive. So I hope that this has been helpful. I'm going to switch back to me and my chat. There you go. I'm back. I'm glad to see you. I know it's been like I've been away for, I don't know, 40 minutes or something. My name is Michael Kyer, and I'm out here sharing information about software, sharing information about streaming, all the different things that you're going to need. If you've been watching my stream for any amount of time, you'll start to see that I'm going through a basic progression from your planning stages, your preparation stages, your practice stages, and then going live, getting out there. And then later on we'll get into once you're live, once you've got your show up and running, how to moderate that, how to make that happen in a way that's really engaging for the audience. Hopefully, if your internet connection works and everything's synced up and you can get to your documents and you can get to your whatever without some catastrophic internet failure, which again has been known to happen because it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of things to get there. So I hope you've learned something. I hope that I haven't completely bored you. I know that Google Documents and Google Drive and those sorts of things can be a dry sort of topic, but I like it. I really find a lot of use for it. Collaboration with other people, either asynchronously or in real time, that's a great benefit. So the cloud's your friend. The cloud is a good thing. It's not as vague as you may think. You're constantly using it. Email, texts, Facebook posts, Google Documents, all of these things are the cloud. So if you've got some hesitation, or if you are thinking that everything you want to have everything on your computer, just know that you don't. You don't have to have everything stored on your computer. It's safe. It's out there. It's on the internet. It's not 100%, but it is definitely a good thing. A good thing. So I'm going to leave it at there. Just about 40 minutes. Won't introduce myself one last time for anybody who's coming in late. My name is Michael Kyer, and I'm out here adding my stream to the great river that's the internet, because I want you to do the same. Your voice is important. It's important. We need more positive voices out there these days to show that there's good people, there's wholesome people out here on the internet. So you stop by my channel, you're welcome here. I love to hear from people. I love to engage with people. Chatting is one of my more favorite things. If you couldn't tell, that I do like to talk when I get the chance. So I'm going to leave it at that. Have a good day. Have a safe day. If you're out there, get your vaccinations. Okay, get your vaccinations. This Omicron thing that's starting up is, again, no joke. It is maybe not as deadly as some of these other variants, but it's very contagious, and so getting your vaccines is a good thing for you. It's a good thing for your neighbors. It's a good thing for everybody. So please, if you are eligible to get your vaccines, please go and do it. And at that, I'm going to leave it at that. About 10 days till Christmas. Enjoy the holidays. I'll be back on Friday with another stream, and I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to talk about more stuff, talk about more internet. All right, talk to you later.